Hey, what's going on guys? It's Tom Mason here, back with another video. I know it's been a while, but it has been one hell of a crazy year to say the least. But today I wanted to get out and do a little preview on this, the Z6 version 2. Nikon sent me over a pre-production model to take a look at and get a feel for early in the field. And I thought I'd share some of my thoughts after having this in my hands a couple of days. For anyone who knows the channel, follows me, you'll know that I've been using the Z6, the original, for a good couple of years now. It films all of the stuff on this channel. It's filming right now, and I really enjoy using that camera. So when the new version came out, I was pretty excited to see what these upgrades are going to do for it. And straight off the bat, I think it really has advanced it quite nicely, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this camera very much. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in Hertfordshire. The sun is out, the autumn colour looks amazing, and I've seen some great wildlife as well. I'm only literally like 5 minutes from the door. There's been, red kites overhead, hares running through the fields. I've seen field fares and redwings. Loads is coming back in the autumn now. It's really lovely to see. I just love this time of year. I just think it's great for photography, and the colour is beautiful. But talking about stuff that's on the outside, the Nikon Z6 II, what's changed? Well, on the outside, not really that much. That for me is a major benefit. I really loved the original Z6. I think the comfort, the ergonomics were very, very good. I think the whole design of the camera was great. I think Nikon really nailed it there. But the upgrades that they've made are certainly going to be things that benefit us in the future. We've got the 2 card slots now. Loads of people have wanted that, especially if you do work where it's really critical that you never have a card fail, weddings, anything like that. It's going to be a real nice thing for them. You've also been updated to that compact flash express, basically XQD Mark II, faster speeds, better performance cards, so that's really nice to have there as well. I've been using XQD cards for absolutely years now, never had a problem with them and love them, so even faster speeds, even greater performance, that is going to be amazing. But outside of the camera, other than that, not really is a lot changed. However, there is one really nice thing, that as you go into this battery compartment, pull it out, you're going to see there are some nice little contacts in there, and that is for the new battery grip. Don't have one at the moment to show you, but it's really nice. It's kind of the just classic Nikon battery grip. Goes in the bottom, and then you've got that shutter button, control dials, you've got joystick on the back as well for moving your autofocus points. It's going to give you that extra grip to the camera, a bit more stability. For anyone with larger hands, anything like that, it's going to be great. And of course for us guys who use longer telephoto lenses, those bigger cameras are really going to benefit from it. It's going to balance things out nicer, and of course it gives you increased battery life. It's got hot swappable batteries. The way it works is really cool. You like slide one in, slide one out. Go to Richie's channel, a good friend of mine, he's done all the kind of look at that and how it works. It's really quite cool. But it's going to be a great little addition to the camera, just give you that extra size and weight, especially if you're working with those longer telephotos. And as they've been rumored on that roadmap, we've got the 400, the 600, the 200 to 600, and the 100 to 400. I think we're going to see some really exciting lenses coming up for us wildlife photographers, so that really is nice to see. But other than that, on the outside, really is not a lot changed, and I really quite like that. But it's the internals where we're really seeing some improvements here with this camera. I really am having a great day in terms of wildlife. Just had a load of brambling in amongst a massive flock of chaffinches, and then I've just seen a firecrest down here, a bird that I absolutely love. So great to see it close to home. I think I've only seen about 2 or 3 before, and miles away from here. Just goes to show that when you get out in your local area, you scout places out, you start looking for wildlife, there is so much more there than you may have ever thought. But anyway, back to the camera and the Z6 version 2. Now, when it comes to upgrades, what's the big deal here? And of course, it's processing power. The original camera was great, it worked very well, but now they've added a second processor into the version 2, and it really has boosted that performance. It's really noticeable as soon as you pick the camera up. One thing that for me probably was my biggest gripe with the Z6 is that when you put it up to your face to get shooting, it just takes a second before it's ready to go. You know, it's just a little moment before it's ready to shoot. The Z6 version 2 is just not like that. You just put it up and it's ready. It's just ready to go. There just seems to be no problem whatsoever. Massive improvement. Of course, having two processors means that it can process twice as much data. That really is ideal for any of these tasks that the camera is performing. Majorly upgrades the buffer as well. Originally the Z6 had about a 35 12-bit raw buffer. Now we're up to 124. That's a major improvement for anyone who's shooting long bursts. You know, as wildlife's coming towards you, all the action's going, you never want to hit that buffer. You don't want to stop and have to wait a second. So now that's never really going to happen, especially with that new, Compact Flash Express. You really are just going to clear that with no issues whatsoever. I doubt you're ever going to hit it. Additionally, on top of that, you also have a faster firing speed. You know, your frames per second has gone from 12 up to 14 now. That really is like flagship performance when we're talking DSLR dates. Amazing to think just how quickly you're getting frames off, meaning any interaction you have with wildlife, any moment, you're just going to have more chances to capture that decisive shot when it happens in front of you. That really is nice to see. And in terms of how the camera just functions, just everything has been improved with that processing power. Video wise, we've had a spec bump as well. We're getting 60p in 4K with a 1.5 crop, but you know, that's absolutely fine. And additionally, we've got HDR output as well when you're using external recorder. You know, just great little bumps to the specs. That's really nice to see in the second iteration. But I think the biggest thing that most people are going to be interested in is the autofocus and how it's changed. So let's talk about that. So when the Z series was originally announced, one of the kind of major gripes people had was the autofocus system. They didn't think that it was as effective as, you know, coming from their DSLR like the D850 or the D5. And of course, I think that's a bit unfair for a first generation product to be compared to such incredible machines that have taken years to get to the pinnacle that they are now. But I think that with firmware releases and stuff like that, the Z6 really has majorly leaped forward to the fact that now with the firmware 3 and everything like that, I have no problems autofocusing out in the field with wildlife with my Z6, and I really enjoy using it all the time. But picking up the Z6 II, it really is noticeable the added benefits. The tracking speed, the consistency, the autofocus in general has just improved and come on leaps and bounds. That second processor making a massive difference to the way it can perform. I'm using it in very similar fashion to how I use my DSLRs. You know, autofocus in continuous, in single point, getting on my subject and tracking it, and it's doing an excellent job. Very comparable to those kind of the other DSLRs I use, like my D850. Now, of course, there are some slight differences in the way that it works. I still need to just get my head round, changing modes sometimes for certain subjects and way things are happening. But again, that's just the learning curve of changing and moving systems and moving with the times. But I think we've also got some added benefits that are coming from these cameras. Stuff like eye detect that, to be honest, I've never used in the past really. I've always just relied on myself looking at where the autofocus point is. But now with being able to use a group mode and eye detect at the same time, I think it's going to add some really interesting dynamics to the way that we can shoot pictures out in the field, especially the fact that you can use it in stills and video mode. It really is going to be a nice addition to this camera. I think that because you've got the wide group, you can position it over a area of the frame, still have some control over your composition. It's not going to move it all over the place. Track that subject, lock that eye, and nail the focus. And I think it's going to be really useful for a lot of photographers out there. I look forward to trying that out more. But in terms of just daily shooting, I think now the Z6 II, the autofocus is there, that it's just going to work. I don't think anyone's going to have really major problems with it, and I think that out in the field shooting, it's going to be like any other top camera for working with wildlife. I really am looking forward to getting my hands on a fully released production model, because I think if the firmware before it's even out in the market is this good, I'm really looking forward to that final camera that will be out soon. So yeah, I think it's a really nice upgrade. And with that is pretty much the end of my kind of pre-look at the Z6 version 2. I think overall it's a really nice upgrade, you know, kind of mid-term upgrade with this camera. The performance in terms of the added battery grip and the externals, not many changes there, but great little things for us photographers moving forward. We've got benefits to the processing power, the speed, the performance, and especially the autofocus that's going to make a major difference for lots of people. And not forgetting that 2 card slots that so many people have gone on about for so long. I really do think the Z6 version 2 is a nice step forward, and it really is exciting me about what's going to be coming with the Z series. But yeah, it'd be great to hear your thoughts. Have you got any questions about the camera, anything you want to know, drop it in the comments below. I'll try and answer it before I have to send this back to Nikon. And of course, are you thinking about moving to mirrorless? So you used DSLRs for ages, looking forward to the Z series. I'd love to hear what you think. But until the next one, guys, I'm going to be out doing some local photography very soon, taking you behind the scenes. But until then, guys, you know, stay safe, enjoy your photography, and try and get out to see some wonderful local wildlife. And hope you make some cracking pictures. I'll see you soon.